Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Tuesday, March 14th. Ian Cameron with you. Just me today, just yours truly on the show, ready to break down this Tuesday card. We have a huge Tuesday slate on tap. We've got 12 games in the NHL tonight. Huge Tuesday slate and a great slate for a betcast, which we, of course, have coming your way once again tonight. And as always, we're very much looking forward to it. The live Ice Guys betcast tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you join us. Live betting, commentary. Alex will be with us tonight for the betcast. Myself, of course, as well. All of our great guests, many of them viewers and listeners joining us. And again, we still have room. Drinking Encourage, DM at Bobano on Twitter or email bobano350@gmail.com to request a spot on the betcast. It is always a ton of fun, and we are definitely looking forward to it. So make sure you join us tonight for the betcast, and make sure you jump on the stream with us if you want to join us. Again, we're just sitting back, watching the games, making some live bets, hopefully winning more of them than not. Just a lot of fun interacting with all of our great viewers and listeners. So again, live betcast, a huge slate, tons of great games, tons of hopefully great betting opportunities live as well. So join us tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, DM at Bobano on Twitter or email bobano350@gmail.com to join us tonight for the betcast. Just quickly on last night, because we want to get into today's card. The Leafs leafed again last night, where they have an early lead and they think it's, we put our 20 minutes of good hockey in. That's all we need tonight to beat this Buffalo team. It doesn't work that way. Not in the National Hockey League. Buffalo, much better in the last two periods, and they come back to beat Toronto last night 4-3. Great effort by the Sabres in terms of, digging in deep, desperation, backs against the wall, fading out of the playoffs a little bit with this recent 4-game losing streak, but they got their game back on track last night. And a great performance by 41-year-old Craig Anderson doing his best Cher impression. If he could turn back time, he did last night in that game for the Buffalo Sabres. Played very well in between the pipes and leading the Sabres to a victory there. Colorado just jumping on Montreal early in that game, and they never really looked back. Kind of let off the gas pedal a little bit in the third period, but they were already comfortably ahead, and they rolled a victory over the Montreal Canadiens. That game was good from a prop perspective for me. Arturi Lehkonen, we really targeted his prop last night in that game, going back to Montreal, facing his former team, and he had a hell of a night. Unfortunately, it didn't end well for Arturi Lehkonen. Great in terms of his production on the ice, but injured later in the game, and now we're finding out he'll be out for at least a few weeks. So an unfortunate setback for him, as well as the Colorado Avalanche last night in the injury department when it comes to Lehkonen, but they get the victory over Montreal. And then the other game last night, we saw the Dallas Stars, looking like the 80s Oilers right now, the way they're scoring goals. Holy shit. I mean, it's like 4 or 5 goals every night from this group right now. And once again, the offense comes to life, and they beat Seattle 5-2. The game goes over the total. I had the over. Alex did as his best bet as well on the show yesterday. Vince Dunn to get a point. My best bet on the show gets there as the point streak continues for him. Incredible run it has been. He got 2 points, in fact, 2 helpers on the 2 Seattle goals. He was in on both of them last night, Vince Dunn for the Kraken. But it was pretty much Dallas pouncing early. Again, and everybody's in good form right now. Robertson and Ben is starting to heat up offensively, and Rope Hintz, of course, all year has been great. Wyatt Johnston continues to give them incredible depth scoring. It's all hands on deck for the Stars. Heiskanen's been chipping in points a lot from the blue line, and we'll get to that with Dallas in action again tonight against Vancouver. But no, the Dallas Stars playing really well. And look, if they get any offense, I don't think this is going to sustain itself forever. They're going to have their games again where they fall back and they score 1 or 2 goals. They're not going to keep this up indefinitely, but if they just have some reasonable offensive performances moving forward, they're going to be a very difficult team to beat. And we are seeing that right now for sure from this Dallas Stars team. And and a good run for them during this win streak, scoring goals in bunches. All right, let's get to the Tuesday card. It is a big one, and we will begin with the Montreal Canadiens and the Pittsburgh Penguins. We have Pittsburgh minus 360, home favorites here, 6.5 the total. Back-to-back, of course, here for the Montreal Canadiens after the setback to the Colorado Avalanche was more than a setback. You got your ass kicked. But nevertheless, it was a bad performance from the Canadiens. No question about that. Now they're on the second night of back-to-back games, making the trip to face this surging Pittsburgh Penguins team. 7-1-1 in their last 9 games, the Penguins, to put themselves rather comfortably in the number 1 wild card spot right now in the Eastern Conference. We'll see if they can, not look past this Montreal team, because the one thing you get from the Canadiens, even in the nights where they don't play well, from Montreal is, the efforts there. I don't think the effort was the problem last night. It was just breakdowns, and not a great night either for Jake Allen. That was part of the issue as well. But, more often than not, you do get this team playing hard. It's just how much longer can they hang in there and try to, bring their best and maintain a competitive effort night in and night out when you've got everybody that's out right now for Montreal that's out. It's just an incredible laundry list of injuries. I mean, Yoel Armia, Justin Barron, Christian Dvorak, Jordan Harris, Rem Pitlick, Kirby Dach, Cole Caulfield, Jake Evans, Brendan Gallagher, Sean Monahan, Uri Slafkovsky, Arbor Jacki. It's an endless deluge of injuries right now for the Montreal Canadiens. They're doing their best to gut through it, but it's not been easy. That being said, it wouldn't shock me to see them show pride and really give it a good effort tonight against Pittsburgh, because that's been their mantra. And they're only a 5-5 on the second night of back-to-back games this year. So that's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Pittsburgh, like I said, 7-1-1 streak for them. Their only losses were an overtime loss to the Islanders and a 4-1 loss to Florida. Outside of that, they found ways to win every game recently. The offense is starting to heat up. You look at this last 4-game stretch for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They've been able to score 16 goals in the last 4 games combined for an average of 4 goals per game. So there's no doubt this team is feeling it at the offensive end of the ice right now, getting contributions from everybody. We'll see how this one plays out here. I think if you look at this matchup, it'll be Samuel Montembeault, by the way, in net for the Montreal Canadiens tonight. And on the flip side, Tristan Jarry will be the netminder for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I am going to sprinkle on the draw here. First game out of the chute. With Montreal-Pittsburgh. Nothing on the side. I mean, a Pittsburgh puck line perhaps in the first period to get off to a hot start, jump on the Canadiens coming in from Montreal on a back-to-back early, and then maybe Montreal finds their footing and gets a little bit better as the game goes on. But you can't deny the fact that even during this nice little uptick for the Penguins, they've played a lot of close games. A lot of them have not been easy. They've played overtime games in 5 of their last 9. 5 of the last 9 Pittsburgh Penguins games have gone beyond regulation. So keep that in mind. And Montreal, prior to the last 2 games against Colorado and New Jersey, they had consecutive games going beyond regulation. And Montreal-Pittsburgh, how about earlier this year? 2 meetings. Guess what? Both meetings go beyond regulation. A 3-2 Montreal home win in overtime in October, and a 5-4 Montreal win in November. Also, in overtime. So I ain't passing up odds in this stratosphere with Pittsburgh playing a lot of close games lately, even though they've been winning. Montreal is, I think, a team that's going to bring a spirited effort. I know Marty St. Louis and the players that were took part in that game last night weren't happy with the way things broke down for them defensively throughout that game, albeit a very high-powered Colorado team. I think they bring it tonight. A good enough effort that they could push to put this game into overtime or a shootout, and you get plus 445 right now. What a price that is. Plus 445 at Pinnacle with this draw. I have to put a few bucks on that. Just have to. At that price, Pittsburgh's propensity for close games and games beyond regulation, 5 of the last 9. Montreal, I think, playing a little bit better tonight after a debacle last night. Both meetings earlier this year, Canadiens, Penguins going beyond regulation. There's a lot that adds up to make the draw worth a look. I lean over the total as well, 6.5. And as far as props go in this game, it's Jason Zucker. You know it. don't even have to go far. I don't even have to, go further than that at this point when it comes to him. He's been terrific. 4 straight games with a goal. His goal prop is finally starting to get adjusted a little bit. It was above plus 200 for the longest time, and now we're starting to see the majority of sports books below that plus 200 mark with Jason Zucker goal scorer prop. But still, it's a good enough playable price, in my opinion, plus 180 at FanDuel. Again, he's feeling it. He's been absolutely phenomenal lately, going to the front of the net, tip-ins, deflections. He's scoring in every which way. He's got an underrated release, and he's going to the front of the net, getting these tips and deflection goals as well. He's minus 125 to get a point as well tonight in this game at CoolBet, minus 128 at FanDuel, minus 130 at DraftKings. So there's no question. I mean, Jason Zucker, all day, every day right now, the way he's been performing for the Pittsburgh Penguins. There's also some good streaks worth noting here in this game. Sidney Crosby's gone over his shots on goal prop in 5 straight games, and he's averaging over 5 shots on goal per game. So the captain of the Penguins has taken it upon himself to just say, hey, I'm going to try to shoot the puck more. I know I'm always someone that's looking to set up my teammates and my line mates, but now I'm going to try to, with the games and the points being more at a premium, maybe shoot that puck more, over 2.5 shots, minus 154. Probably worth a look. The assist prop for Crosby's been very good. Malkin, believe it or not, is on an assist streak coming into this game, and it's only minus 130 for Malkin to get an assist for the Penguins. He's gotten an assist in 8 of the last 10 games, 5 straight games with an assist for Evgeny Malkin as well. We mentioned Zucker. He's absolutely red hot right now. Chris Letang over shots on goal makes sense as well, over 2.5. He, of course, had the game-winning shot in overtime to beat the New York Rangers on Sunday. He's gone over his shots on goal prop in 3 straight games coming into tonight as well. So a lot of good options on the Pittsburgh side, at least for props. On the Montreal side of things, it's Mike Matheson shots. It would be Josh Anderson. Those are always our top 2 targets right now for Montreal, whether it's shots, goal prop, point prop. Those are the 2 you have to start with on the Montreal side. Belzile, we talked about him. Didn't score last night, but he did have a point. I'd say sprinkle on that one more time. I mean, he's still been getting chances, getting opportunities, plus 800 at FanDuel to score. Again, just put a few bucks on that. Man, it pays well if he manages to find the back of the net for the Montreal Canadiens tonight. All right, next up, we've got the Washington Capitals and New York Rangers. Rangers minus 165, home favorites, 6.5 being the total here in this one. The New York Rangers, of course, starting to show signs of better continuity now the last few games, trying to get everybody assimilated with all the changes they've made, bringing in Tarasenko, bringing in Patrick Kane. It's not easy, but slowly but surely they're working out the kinks. They had 1-2 in a row against the Habs and the Sabres. They lose in overtime to Pittsburgh 3-2. 3 straight games beyond regulation for this New York Rangers team. So this could be another game where the draw has a potential here between the Caps and the Rangers. Capitals with a bounce-back performance after 2 straight losses, where they beat down the New York Islanders 5-1 on Saturday night. So it was a good win for them. The Capitals aren't completely out of this playoff race yet either. Keep that in mind. And then this is definitely a team that I think takes the ice thinking we're not totally out yet. And there's still some belief with this hockey team that, hey, we can find our way maybe into the playoffs if we play good hockey down the stretch. Remember, Washington's still very much a banged-up hockey team on the blue line. That is worth noting. They've had John Carlson out for a while, although it looks like they're starting to get a little bit healthier on the blue line. They've also had Nick Jensen. They've had Martin Fehervary all battling injuries as well as of late. But it looks like Jensen's in tonight. So is Fehervary. So much-needed reinforcements on the back end for Washington, which they need when you're playing against the high-powered firepower offensively that the New York Rangers bring to the table. Now, again, the New York Rangers last 2 games, he's talking about their firepower and all this gobbledygook about the New York Rangers and how much they can score. And here they are the last 2 games where they've been held to just 2 goals against the Sabres and the Penguins. But, you're never held to the prism of a 2-game sample size, nor should you be. So from that standpoint, it's not wise to just say, well, the Rangers offense isn't going to work with these guys. They've got the talent there and the ability. And the one thing we know with the Washington Capitals, at least prior to the Islander game, is that they had been struggling to keep the puck out of their net in a few recent games. They had given up 7 goals to Buffalo 3 goals to San Jose, 4 to LA. So, we'll see how they fare here in this one. But from a goaltending standpoint, Shesterkin confirmed for the Rangers. And by the way, the Rangers miss Ryan Lindgren too. Such an underrated absence on the blue line. Physical, plays well in his own end, doesn't make as many mistakes either when it comes to defensive posture in his own zone. So that's definitely a big absence here from a Rangers perspective, losing Ryan Lindgren on the blue line. So I think if you look at this matchup here with the Capitals and the Rangers off a loss against Pittsburgh, I usually like to back them when they're back home and off a loss the way they are here. I don't really love what I'm seeing from Washington. That being said, Washington this year has beaten the Rangers twice. 4-0 shutout in New York and a 6-3 win, of course, just recently. Remember that February 25th game? That was just right before the Patrick Kane trade was confirmed. Everybody was getting a little bit excited. All the rumors were going around that they were going to get Patrick Kane, and you could tell they were just that the mind was on that, not so much playing the Washington that day, and they didn't play well. So, I do like the Rangers here. I'm going to take a shot in regulation here, New York Rangers. In this game, I haven't done a lot of regulation bets, and I don't like doing a lot of regulation bets at this time of year because of how tight things can be and how, many games, as Alex and I have documented the last few weeks, have gone beyond regulation. But what I will do is probably a half unit on the the Rangers in regulation, which is around not a bad price either with that. Plus 100 even money at Pinnacle, and a little smaller bet, probably 0.1 unit or a quarter unit at most on the draw as well at plus 340. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to do a little bit of a split there. And the way it works is if the Rangers in regulation wins, we're profitable. But if the Rangers don't win in regulation, but if the game goes beyond regulation to overtime or a shootout, we still have a chance to be profitable because quarter unit on plus 340 for the draw is going to wipe out the loss of the Rangers in regulation. So that's my money management structure here. About approximate half unit bet Rangers in regulation, quarter unit bet on the draw, and Rangers in regulation wins, its profit. If the draw cashes, regardless of who wins, it's going to be profit in this game as well. So that's a good way to play it, in my opinion, in this game. The only way we can get burned is if the Capitals win in regulation. We'd lose Rangers in regulation and we'd lose the draw. And I don't know if that's a scenario that I think is as strong as the other two. So that's the way I'm going here in this game. Prop-wise, in this game, we talked about it that Lafreniere is heating up a little bit for the Rangers. He was, at least, for a couple of games there. He's gone back to no points in the last 2 games, but maybe back on home ice. Good time to buy in again here with Alexis Lafreniere. He's still getting the minutes. He's still getting the number 1 power play unit for the New York Rangers. That's what you want to see when you're going to bet someone in terms of their props. So don't give up on Lafreniere after a couple of quiet games just yet. Vincent Trocheck, someone that we think he's found new life playing with, he was playing with Kane, and it looks like have they shifted the lines here, Gerard Gallant? Let me just see here going into this game. It looked like they had they did have Patrick Kane with, Patrick Kane still with Trocheck and Kreider on the second line. Panarin was Zibanejad and Tarasenko. Looks like the new look top line because they've separated Panarin and Kane here for this game tonight. So a little bit of a shakeup in the top 6 here tonight for the New York Rangers. So that's definitely something to keep in mind going into this matchup. But, you look at the last 5 games, what we've seen from some of these players. Patrick Kane starting to heat up. He's got 15 shots on goal in the last 5 games combined for the New York Rangers. That's significant. Tarasenko's got 16 in the last 5 games. So right away, I mean, you're looking at shot props tonight for the Rangers. Those are 2 that stand out. Kane is shooting the puck more. He's only over 2.5, minus 165. Vlad Tarasenko is only minus 120, over 2.5 shots on goal. So both of them have been shooting the puck a little bit here the last 5 games. And I think you might see that continue here tonight in this matchup against the Capitals. I also think this game at 6, I lean to the over. I will have a bet on the over. I bet that if it was 6.5, I might have stayed off, but 6 to the over, I'm interested. I know the Rangers have gone under in a couple. This feels like that kind of spot where it's time for the Rangers offense to get rolling again. I think it's very possible that does happen here tonight in this matchup against the Capitals. So the over is in play. And remember, we saw 6-3 the last meeting between these 2 teams. But as far as the other props, too, that I'm considering here, for this matchup, Capitals and Rangers. We go on down. There's a couple more I wanted to mention. Strome's on a 4-game point streak for the Capitals. Even with Shesterkin and net, do you really think the Rangers are going to shut out this team? I don't think so. He's plus 125 to get a point tonight, Dylan Strome, for this Washington Capitals team. So keep that in mind. Definitely he has been piling up the points lately, and a really good price, if you ask me, too, plus 125 for Dylan Strome, someone on a 4-game point streak coming into the game tonight for the Washington Capitals. Like I said, Kane shots on goal, Tarasenko shots on goal are probably looks that I'm interested in here for this game tonight. And I was just looking to see what else here. Oh, Oshie with points in 7 of the last 10 games for the Washington Capitals. We've mentioned him. And here's a sneaky one, and he's only plus 110 to get a point tonight, so that's a good look. And here's a sneaky one, Rasmus Sandin for the Washington Capitals. He's on the number 1 defensive pair. He's getting power play time. He's getting tons of opportunity here now with this team after the trade with Toronto. Again, more of a featured role for him. That's what he always wanted. Number 1 pair, number 1 power play unit for the Capitals, and Rasmus Sandin's making the most of it. How about since becoming a Washington Capital, how about 8 points in the last 4 games? 8 points for Rasmus Sandin in the last 4 games, and you can get his point prop tonight in this game at an exceptional price considering the success. 8 points in 4 games, and you can get Rasmus Sandin plus 130 to get a point tonight in this game. Plus price for Rasmus Sandin to get a point here in this matchup against the New York Rangers. So outstanding price. 8 points in 4 games, getting that opportunity that he's wanted in Toronto. But again, they got so many players on the back end. He just couldn't find that ample ice time on a consistent basis. So Rasmus Sandin point, Rasmus Sandin assist, which is an even better price. And most of his points have been assists. Plus 175 at Bet99 to get an assist, plus 165 at DraftKings to get an assist, plus 168 at FanDuel to get an assist. Just have at it with Rasmus Sandin. Those are amazing prices. 8 points in 4 games for the Washington Capitals, and 7 of those 8 points have been assists. Only 1 of them has been a goal. So to get to see the assist at plus 175, that's really something else. And I'll gladly, with a smile on my face, I will look at that assist prop and be very happy to bet it. All right, next up, we've got Tampa Bay and New Jersey. We've got the Devils minus 135 home favorites, 6.5 the total in this one. Yeah, I like New Jersey here. The numbers climbed. It's actually climbed a little bit. This opened as low as minus 120. We're seeing minus 135, minus 140. I like the Devils here. I like the way they're playing. I obviously don't like the way Tampa Bay is playing. We've talked about that ad nauseum here on this show. But New Jersey's won 3 straight, playing excellent hockey coming into this game. Tampa Bay has beaten them 2 of the 3 meetings this year against the New Jersey Devils, including the most recent one, 6-3 here in Jersey. But as we've mentioned here with Tampa Bay as of late, there's just something not fully there with their game right now, whether it's malaise, whether it's disinterest, whether it's they just suck right now or they're not playing well. It's a multitude of factors, but it's enough. Whatever the factors are, this team's not putting wins on the board. They're not playing 60 minutes of hockey. They're making a lot of defensive mistakes too in the last few games. Vasilevsky as well. I'm not going to say he's been awful because he hasn't been awful. He's not been that bad, but he's just been uncharacteristically underwhelming of late. Sloppy rebound control. Not tracking the puck as well. Just little things that when Vasilevsky's the brick wall we know him to be, he doesn't have these issues. But right now he does have these issues right now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So this is a Devils team rolling at the moment. I like the New Jersey side, minus 135. We'll recommend them at the current price, even though it's climbed. I think they get the job done tonight in this game. Tampa Bay. And look, they've now drawn even with Carolina for first in the Metro Division after that big win against the Canes at home on Sunday night. So I don't think there's any let up here. I love what I'm seeing from the Devils. They haven't even fully gotten Timo Meier playing at his absolute best, but they've gotten, obviously, Jack Hughes was phenomenal against Carolina. Dawson Mercer, who, again, he had his point streak finally snapped the other night, and it was bound to happen at some point, but like I say, we don't jump off a streak until we lose 2 in a row. I still think it's worth your while to go back to the well with the Dawson Mercer point streak prop, which again ended at 12 games with that Carolina game where he got held off the score sheet, even though they won 3-0. Still come back to that. Worth a look for sure in this game. Some other props here of note for this New Jersey and Tampa Bay game. I'm just looking at the numbers here. Yeah, Mercer still with points in 9 of the last 10. Braden Point to score a goal. Like, if anyone's going to do something for Tampa Bay, it's going to be him. I mean, he's got points in 8 of the last 10 games. Kucherov, by the way, shooting the puck quite a bit. I've noticed that. Big uptick in terms of Kucherov shooting the puck. 8 of the last 10, he's gone over 3.5 shots. I think that's a good play in this game. Jack Hughes over 3.5 shots. You don't think he's going to be fired up and want to make an impact here against Tampa Bay? Definitely, I could see that. Braden Point, like I said, not only the points, but again, he scored a goal in 7 of the last 10 games. So, yeah, those are all props that I'm interested in. Mercer props, Kucherov over shots, Point to get a goal, certainly. Dawson Mercer to get a point. We're not jumping off that train just yet. They've all certainly been players that have been able to contribute lately for this for New Jersey. On the Tampa Bay side, yeah, I mean, Cubano in our chat mentioning Alex Killorn. Yeah, Alex Killorn points in particular. Goals, he's gotten 5 in the last 6 games. So this is about as good an offensive stretch as he's had because he is really going back to last year. He's kind of been, not that offensive force that we know he could be. But lately we've seen him bring it back again. He's upwards of plus 350 to score a goal, but the point prop is only minus 110. For Alex Killorn tonight, and he is definitely starting to trend in the production, the direction of improved production for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And again, with that point prop, like I said, even money minus 110. Killorn's on a little bit of a stretch right now where he has collected 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 points for the Lightning in the last 7 games. So it's been a nice little run here for Alex Killorn lately for Tampa Bay. So there's another prop I would consider as well here in this game. This is a game where I'm always with firepower that these two teams have, I'm always tempted to look over. And if you actually look, 2 of the 3 meetings this year have gone over the total, including the game in New Jersey. But, we'll have to wait and see because, I might wait for the betcast tonight, see if I can get something back. I just get that sense it might start slow. It might start a little bit slower tonight in this game. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And by the way, when it comes to the New Jersey, I do definitely lean over, but I think I might look for something better. And keep in mind, Anthony Cirelli, in terms of his status, the upper body injury that he suffered against Winnipeg, you're talking about a guy that, 10 goals, 13 assists. The offense is sporadic when it comes to Anthony Cirelli for the Lightning. But what's not sporadic is how important he is to this team, especially at the defensive end of the ice. This team becomes a much worse defensive team up front in the forward group without Anthony Cirelli. So if he does not play tonight, that's a big blow defensively for Tampa Bay. And actually, if he doesn't play, not only will I maybe just not just bet New Jersey, which I'm already on for the money line, but I might look at the team total. Over 3.5 if Cirelli doesn't play. Yeah, Palat, yes. Great call. I almost moved on to the next game not mentioning that. That would have been a travesty on my part. But yes, that angle, obviously, it's a big angle. It's a meaningful angle. It's the one we talked about with Arturi Lehkonen last night playing his former team. And here's Andre Palat for the New Jersey Devils tonight playing his former team, the Tampa Bay Lightning. You don't think he'd want to make an impact tonight? Against the Lightning? He's only plus 130 to get a point, plus 340 at FanDuel to score a goal in this game tonight. If you really want to get live, or if you really want to get into the bargain bin, there's a plus 340 right there for Palat to score a goal. But even the point prop is good enough for me. Absolutely, a plus 130 for him to get a point. And I think if you actually look at the recent numbers as well for Palat going into this matchup for the Devils, his point production. Not great of late. Well, he was up on a surge about a few weeks ago, or early in March. Andre Palat was on a stretch there where he had 5 points in 4 games. He's now gone 3 consecutive games without a point since then. But I still think based on that angle alone, facing his former team, he'd want to be someone that definitely makes an impact. And that includes the shots on goal, too. We don't think of Andre Palat always as someone that's got a high volume shots on goal player, but tonight could be that exception as he tries to maybe get his cookie against his old team. All right, Winnipeg Jets, Carolina Hurricanes. We got Carolina minus 220, home favorites, 6 the total, shaded to the under in this game. This is definitely a bet that falls into the category of maybe you're being a victim of recency bias, but as long as we don't get any shenanigans here with the starting goaltender decision for Winnipeg, and I'm still thinking it could be Riddick. That's the only reason I'm holding off. But they should start Hellebuck. Rick Bowness should, but because they don't have a back-to-back, they play at home against Boston on Thursday. There's no reason not to roll with Hellebuck here. He's a workhorse. He's always talked about to the media that he's totally cool, with starting back-to-back games and not having those issues with, starting back-to-back games. And this is not even a back-to-back. They played Sunday night. They got a day off yesterday after the Tampa Bay game. So it should be Hellebuck, but the way they've trying to rest him and they're, not like a mini version of load management almost, that it wouldn't totally surprise me to see David Riddick in net. And then you see a lot of the goalie sites like Left Wing Lock, among others, projecting it to be David Riddick. And you become a little bit, worried that it is going to be him instead of Connor Hellebuck here for this game. So we'll see who ends up. Yeah, it is Riddick. I'm just seeing it now. Riddick and Anderson, the goaltenders here for this Jets and Hurricanes game. Freddie Anderson in net. He, of course, was in net when they got shut out 4-0 by Vegas on Saturday night. It was Kochetkov who was in for the New Jersey loss. But back to Freddie Anderson tonight, and it is David Riddick in goal tonight for the Winnipeg Jets in this game. You look at the series history, believe it or not, it's 3-2-1 to the over, but the only unders were 4-1 and 4-2, and the total here in this game is 6. And actually, if you shop around, I think we might see, because it's shaded to the under, we might get a 5.5 here. Let me just double check on that right now. We might actually yes, Bet Rivers has over 5.5 -1. I'm betting over 5.5 at -122. You better believe it. At that number, I'm interested. So shop around. A lot of books have over 6 at a plus price. If you like that price better, you can bet that. Or if you want to get the 5.5 like I do, you can go to Bet Rivers here over 5.5 -122. I think that's a good look. And look, the Jets are scoring a little bit. They've had a nice road trip offensively. No question about it. They had the 5 spot against Florida. They put 3 goals on the board against Tampa. I think it could have been even more than that. They had 35 shots. They've had 73 shots here in the 2 road games that they've played so far. So it kind of has me wanting to take Carolina over saves, but we know Carolina is just such an incredible team at not allowing a ton of shots on goal. They're one of the best at it. So it's kind of a clash of something's got to give here, right? Winnipeg's racking up the shots on goal the first 2 games of this road trip in Tampa and Florida, but Carolina doesn't give up a ton of shots. So what is going to give there? That ends up being the massive question. So I like the over here, 5.5 -122. Man, I was going to bet Winnipeg if it was Hellebuck for something at +180. I can't do it now with Riddick. Riddick's been trending downward. If anyone's been watching David Riddick, he's turning more and more into Big Civ Dave all over again. He had that nice little run, but hasn't lasted. He gave up 3 goals against San Jose. A couple of them were stinkers, in a game that Winnipeg outplayed the Sharks. And if they get a save or 2 from Riddick, they probably win that game. That's a problem. He gave up 3 goals to the Islanders, so not nearly as sharp the last few games for the Winnipeg Jets. So that's why I gravitate now more towards over in this game rather than the Jets side. You look at the recent games too for Winnipeg; they've actually gone beyond regulation in 3 of their last 7 games going into this matchup here against Carolina. And the previous meeting this year in Winnipeg did also go to overtime. So I'm going to sprinkle on the draw. Here, there's another draw sprinkle. Now, again, keep these light. I don't want people coming to me after and saying, well, you know what, your draw looks all lost. Well, you should be keeping them to minimal amounts. That's what you do with the draw. Maybe once in a while you step one up to a little bit of a bigger bet if you really feel more confident in it. But these are small scale bets. These are bet a little to win a lot type of bets, or bet a little to win a decent amount more. That's what we're doing here with some of these draws. the ones that we're taking a shot on, but we're not, really strongly confident with. And that would be this one. But again, it adds up. And it adds up too because the Jets need points desperately. Things will get clamped down a little bit if it's tied late in the third period. You could even say the same thing for Carolina because they're in that first place battle with New Jersey. And we've got that great situation for a draw as well. Opposing conferences for these two teams. Their respective playoff races have nothing to do with each other. Okay, Carolina doesn't give two shits. They don't give a flying you-know-what that Winnipeg gets a point tonight. Conversely, the same thing with Winnipeg. They don't give a crap if Carolina gets a point tonight. They're in totally different playoff races tonight, these two teams. Nothing to do with each other in that regard. It's not like Carolina getting a point is going to hurt Winnipeg, or Winnipeg getting a point in this game tonight is going to hurt Carolina. So the draw to me looks a little bit at this price like it's worth a shot. And again, we're seeing these come through. I mean, that Sunday, look at the draws that cashed in the National Hockey League. And again, you're talking plus 375 here at Pinnacle with the draw for this Winnipeg Carolina game. So, and it's not like Anderson's been phenomenal and shutting the door lately either. I mean, we're bagging on Riddick here, or I am at least, and let's not act like Freddie Anderson's been on top of his game the last few games. He hasn't really been all that superb in recent games. So, like I say, we're going to sprinkle on the draw north of plus 400. It's a great, or almost plus 400, plus 375. It's a great price. And also I like over 5.5 here. Prop wise, there are a few that I'm interested in. Not as many because one thing we're seeing with Carolina is they're really trying to play that more, tighter brand of hockey, as we get closer to the playoff, at least in terms of the shots on goal quotient. But as far as the props go here for this one, I'd probably look toward Svechnikov, by the way. I do want to point that out. Svechnikov being out is significant for Carolina. Keep that in mind. And it's unfortunate to see he's going to be out indefinitely. There was concern that he suffered a torn ACL, and so they're looking at additional opinions, MRI results. They're saying, though, at least 4 weeks is what they're saying for Svechnikov. It is a huge loss, obviously, especially for a team that didn't really improve their team at the deadline. And we've talked about that, where it's like almost like Carolina thought they had a good enough team. They really didn't have to make a ton of great upgrades at the trade deadline. Yes, Puljujärvi was their big upgrade at forward. I mean, that's really saying something, especially considering Connor McDavid couldn't even bring anything out of him in Edmonton. So, the draw for me here, and also a little look toward the over here, 5.5 in this one. There is something prop wise. I'm trying to think of it now before we move on to the next game. Oh, of course, Niederreiter, of course. Duh. Nino Niederreiter, of course. He's been phenomenal here for the Winnipeg Jets here as of late. Been absolutely outstanding. Continues to produce for this group. Found instant chemistry, playing big minutes. Already playing on the number one power play unit as well for this Winnipeg Jets team. No doubt. And look, he's playing against his old team, Carolina, one of his old teams, just like Minnesota. And you saw what he did there. Yeah, he got to the Wild and made an impact there. I think he makes an impact here against another one of his former teams, the Carolina Hurricanes. You look at his production. He's on a 6-game point streak. He has goals in 3 of the last 4 games for the Winnipeg Jets, and that 6-game point streak. So yeah, Nino Niederreiter, we're rocking and rolling with double N once again for the Winnipeg Jets. Plus 250 in some spots to score a goal. Only plus 100 to get a point, which is just superb, outstanding, spectacular value, a great price. And the over shots on goal too, plus 140. He'd be the one I'd be interested in for shots on goal tonight. Because again, I don't love, peppering shots on goal props for opposing teams of the Carolina Hurricanes because they don't give up a ton of shots. But he would be that one guy I'd be interested in shots on goal for tonight in this game because of that impact and facing his former team. He's feeling it. He's got points in 6 straight games. When you have points in 6 straight games and a goal in 3 of the last 4 games, you want to shoot the puck more. And I think we'll see that from Nino Niederreiter here tonight. All right, Vegas and Philly. We've got the Golden Knights minus 190 road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. A great road trip here for the Vegas Golden Knights so far. And what they've done has been pretty remarkable. 6-1 in their last 7. This team is just decimated with their goaltending. I mean, first it was Leonard, then it was Logan Thompson, then it was Laurent Brossoit, and now it's Adin Hill, who's also been out for the Vegas Golden Knights the last few games with a lower body injury. So they've got to go with Jonathan Quick. It's obviously going to be Jonathan Quick, you would think, tonight in this game. And boy, are they thankful they picked him up now in that trade with Columbus, because with all their goalies out, they would have had to rely on this Yuri Patera kid, who they actually coincidentally got the win in his first NHL start against St. Louis the other night. But really amazing work here by the Golden Knights to keep themselves afloat. They've had a rotating, revolving door at goaltender all season, and especially of late, and they have been able to just continue to get the job done and play winning hockey. Like I said, 6 of their last 7. Philly's obviously struggling. 1-7 in their last 8 games. The only win was a 3-1 win against Detroit. They've dropped 3 straight games to playoff-bound competition. We think Pittsburgh might be playoff-bound. It's not set in stone yet, but they're trending that way. But they've lost 3 in a row to potential playoff teams, Tampa Bay, Carolina, and Pittsburgh. So the Flyers are really kind of fading now, kind of realizing that, hey, we worked our ass off this season. We played hard, but, we just don't have the depth and the overall level of ability and skill and talent that the other teams have, and it's starting to become a reality here. This is the end of the road trip here for Vegas, okay? That's the one thing that bothers me about taking Vegas. I want to take Vegas here in this spot in regulation, but this is the end of that road trip, and they go back home to face Calgary on Thursday night. Is there that wanting to get home feeling creeping into this team a little bit in this game, that they just want to get home and get on the plane and back to Sin City? But the counter argument to that is, can Philadelphia take advantage of it? I'm not so sure. I mean, this team is just absolutely compromised offensively. 3 goals in the last 3 games combined. They have not been able to find the back of the net whatsoever here in this game. And again, Jonathan Quick had one of the best games I've seen him play in years against Carolina. 34 save shutout. Yeah, there's that argument. Can he do it again? Can he bring 2 strong games in a row to the table? But he might be able to. I mean, Philadelphia is not scoring right now as a team. So this is definitely a spot where I'm leaning with Vegas in regulation. I probably will get on that for something here. I am a little bit worried, though, again, with this being the final game of a fairly successful road trip, that there's that little look ahead to getting home tangent in play here for the Golden Knights. But I don't know. I still think they're better than Philly. Come ready to play, you get the job done. So for me, I like Vegas here in regulation. I'm not so hot on the over. I know some people in our chat like the over, but Vegas can clamp down. Quick was phenomenal, shutting out Carolina. Each of the last 2 meetings have gone under the total between these 2 teams. So I would probably stick with Vegas. In terms of props here, yeah, Marchessault clearly, continues to play very well for them. I keep thinking that Barbashev for the Golden Knights is going to get going again. Yeah, Marchessault's got a point in 4 of the last 5 games, 5 of the last 6 games, goals in back-to-back games. I like his goal and point prop. Close shave Barbashev, Ivan Barbashev point prop. He got off the schneid against his old team, St. Louis, got a point. I think his point prop is worth a look. Here's a point prop I'll throw at you, and maybe even shots on goal too, because we've seen him. Not so much the shots on goal. He's got 1 in the last 3 games, but he's been racking up points lately on the blue line for Vegas. Alex Pietrangelo. Yeah, I've picked up on this here. I picked up on it a game or 2 ago that, hey, this guy's now starting to pile up some points, get in on the offense, and he's only plus 136 at FanDuel to get a point tonight. That's Alex Pietrangelo here for the Vegas Golden Knights. And, Shea Theodore is a guy that really contributes a lot of offense from the back end. We think of him as someone that can do that for this team. Maybe not always as much Pietrangelo, but right now Pietrangelo is doing that for the Vegas Golden Knights. So definitely interested in terms of prop involving him in this matchup between the Golden Knights and the Flyers. Yeah, first period, both teams to score. I certainly think Vegas can get on the score sheet. Felix Sandstrom is going to be the Philadelphia netminder, by the way. He was very good in his last start, actually, believe it or not, against Carolina. It was that 1-0 Hurricanes win that night. He stopped 28 of 29 shots, and he played pretty well in that game. But his overall numbers are terrible. 1-9, 3.3 goals against average, .888 save percentage on the season. So that's the concern. He's off one really good start and a whole lot of not so good before that. So what will Felix Sandstrom bring to the table here tonight? That ends up being the big question. But like I said, I'm going to look at those props I mentioned, and also maybe a look toward the Vegas in regulation here for even with the concern of them looking forward to getting home. I think they've still probably got enough to outdo this, struggling Philadelphia team at the moment. Let me see what else in terms of props. Yeah, Marchessault point prop. Carlson actually points in 3 straight games. I mentioned Pietrangelo with the 3-game point and assist streak. That's a really good prop, in my opinion. Pietrangelo in this game, no question about that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, Eichel's gotten a point in 7 of the last 10. Keep that in mind. Riley Smith with a point in 7 of the last 10 as well for Vegas. So it's another reason why Vegas has won 6 of the last 7. When you're seeing all these players' names pop up on goal streaks and point streaks, and that's when you know your team's playing well. You got Marchessault and Eichel and Smith and Pietrangelo, and you're getting so many different names here, basically contributing for them right now offensively, and that's what's helping them put together this nice little run. All right, Detroit, Nashville. We've got Nashville minus 155, home favorite, 6 the total in this one. This is probably one of the draws that I kind of like the most here tonight. This definitely screams draw with these two teams, the Red Wings and the Predators. They're both on the outside looking in their respective playoff races, but neither team is fully out of it yet. Even Detroit now, who have won 2 of their last 3 games, they're not fully dead yet. Look, who's kidding who? We don't think Detroit's getting in. Anybody that looks at the standings knows, Detroit's going to have a hard time making it. But they haven't given up, and they haven't stopped believing they can get in Detroit, because you're still seeing them play hard on a nightly basis. And they still are only 7 points out, but they're going to have to put some things together to get in. Same thing with Nashville. Like, nobody in the right mind believes Nashville's going to get in. Nashville's 6 points behind Winnipeg right now for the second wild card spot. It's looking highly unlikely that both of these teams get into the playoffs, but don't tell them that. They both think they could get in here in this as of right now. And because you've got Detroit in the East in their own playoff race, Nashville in the West in their own playoff race, this is just like Winnipeg and Carolina. We talked about it earlier. Nobody cares that the other team's going to get a point. If it's tied late, nobody's going to be upset that the other team's going to get a point out of it. No way they are. They couldn't care less about that. So, you look at this game, Detroit, again, off the big win against Boston. Now they go to Nashville. Nashville, by the way, not a great spot for them. If you look at this Nashville Predators team, they have been on the road for a very long time. A 6-game road trip. Since March 2nd, it started against Florida, then Chicago, then Vancouver, then Arizona, then Los Angeles, then Anaheim. It's a very long road trip for this team, and now they're coming back home. So, tricky spot here for this Nashville Predators team off that road trip, off that long road. So this might be a game where I do like the draw, but I might even sprinkle a little on Detroit, do that little half and half. I like doing that with the dog, the little a half on the underdog side and a half on the draw, or a little bit smaller on the draw. And if you get one of them to cash, you're going to be profitable. And if you win, and if the dog wins in overtime or a shootout, man, you're really in profit if that's the case, which I think has the potential here in this game. So I don't mind the shot with Detroit plus 140 here in this game. They catch Nashville off the long road trip. Maybe Nashville in the first period too. I might jump a little on that at plus 122, because you think in the first 20 minutes, maybe they're going to catch Nashville at their most vulnerable. So yeah, Detroit first period full game money line split. We'll split it up between those two. And then the draw, like I said, plus 340. Again, pretty good price on that. And I definitely think we could see it be a close competitive game with Detroit having that shot to get the win here on the road. Saros will be in net for Nashville here in this game. Of course, they're still without Johansson, Parson, and Forsberg. Alex Carrier's out as well. We expect Billy Husso in net for Detroit, but it hasn't been confirmed of yet. This is not a bad prop game either. I'd say Cody Glass point prop. Thomas Novak. I mean, this guy, they found something in him. He's been just remarkably consistent, Thomas Novak, and he's only plus 100 to get a point, plus 105. If you want to sprinkle on the, or actually that's plus 330 is to get a goal. Thomas Novak tonight. And then to get a point, he's minus 130, which is a very good price. You could look at Tyson Barrie to get a point, plus 105 for Nashville. He's playing number 1 power play. If you want to go even further, Barrie to get a power play point is plus 400 at FanDuel. That's not a bad option here. Not a bad prop game here in this one. Larkin's on a 3-game point streak. Oh, and if you're into power play points, here's something very interesting I noticed. Power play points. 3-game power play point streaks for the Detroit Red Wings for both Alex Chiasson and Dylan Larkin coming into this game. Both of them have gotten a power play point in 3 straight games. Larkin power play point plus 192 tonight. Alex Chiasson power play point tonight plus 560 at FanDuel. And we have 2 guys that are on 3-game power play point streaks right now for the Detroit Red Wings. So there you go. Bargain bin right there if you're looking at power play point props. And remember, Chiasson got that beautiful goal against Boston on Saturday afternoon, the game in Boston on the power play. So not a bad prop game here with the Red Wings and the Predators going into this matchup. I'm just looking at series history. It's kind of trended under, so I'm neutral on the total. Could go over, could go under. Neither would surprise me here in this game tonight, but I'm going to stick with a little split Detroit first period full game money line, little on the draw plus 340, and all those props I mentioned worth a look as well. All right. That's halfway through the Tuesday card. 6 more games still to go. We'll be back to preview those right after we hear from Gramco. Support for the
Ice Guys is brought to you by Gramco. Whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, court, or the ice, Gramco is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, Gramco provides customers with consistent quality Delta-8 THC products ready for any occasion. Gramco currently offers numerous Delta-8 products, including vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. Gramco offers an enjoyable, legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you. Gramco is also available at many American retailers as well. You can get the best Delta-8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from Gramco. And if you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code ICEGUYS, you will get 20% off of every order, and any order that's on the site over $50 will be shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with Gramco and check out their wonderful Delta-8 products today.
All right, we're back here, and that's, yes, great call in the chat. Po Buddy's Nerfect about Andrew Kopp. Yes. He's heating up, and we know there's offense in him. It's look, he's known for two-way play, good defensively, wins a lot of big faceoffs, plays in all situations. But it was shocking to see him have such a weak offensive season. He's a better offensive player than 8 goals this season that he's had for Detroit. But lo and behold, last 6 games, he's heating up. He's got points in 4 straight games, a point in 5 of the last 6 games for Detroit, and goals in back-to-back games as well coming into tonight. So, yeah, Andrew Kopp props, I sign off on that. I co-sign that. Definitely good to look at that. All right, Boston, Chicago. We've got Boston minus 440. Big road favorites here, 6 being the total in this game. I don't know if I'd want to be Chicago tonight. I mean, Boston's one of those teams that, again, we talked about it. Do they just bounce back because they're pissed about a loss, or are they in that spot where now the malaise continues and it's like we're cruising right now? We're up by whatever it is, 11 points on the 2 nearest teams to us in the Eastern Conference. You know, is it balls to the wall every night for Boston? And you're starting to see some of that lethargic, take your foot off, ease up. Ease your foot off the gas pedal type of mentality here from Boston. They've lost 2 of the last 3. They lost to Edmonton at home. They lost to Detroit Sunday afternoon, 5-3, and they started that game terribly, about as bad as the Bruins have looked in 2 periods before waking up in the third, but too little too late. And don't forget about the game in Boston against Detroit on Saturday, the first of the 2 that they did win 3-2, but they were down 2-0 early. They didn't look ready to go in that game either. So, it's just you're not gonna see me backing Boston at any point moving forward the rest of the regular season. They're overpriced. You don't know if you're going to get full on 100% focus, 100% intensity, 100% effort, 100% performance every night with this team, with everything essentially locked up in terms of their positioning and gearing up now for the playoffs, which means you might also see Jim Montgomery, experiment with some things, look at some different line combinations, and look at some D pairs. But I'm also not interested really in Chicago, to be quite honest. I mean, it's a huge price. Mrazek is going to be in net for the Blackhawks tonight. Linus Ullmark for the Boston Bruins. There are some injuries here for Chicago. They are a bit banged up right now. Reese Johnson injured. Cole Gutman, who's actually been a nice little spark for them, he's out. Colin Blackwell, Anders Bjork. On the Boston side, Nick Foligno, Taylor Hall have been out for a while, but Brandon Carlo, defenseman, is now out as well for this game tonight. Bit banged up. It's expected he'll be ready on Thursday. I think this is more load management, minor injury, just wanted to hold him out. And Hampus Lindholm slated to be back in the lineup to replace Brandon Carlo. Tells you how sick the Bruins blue line is. Hampus Lindholm's spare part right now on that blue line. That's insane to me. And he's a pretty good player. And all of a sudden now Hampus Lindholm draws back in. And, of course, what a blue line it is now for the Boston Bruins in terms of depth. So this is not really a game I'm going to touch side or total with. Boston's won 4 straight against Chicago. But 3 of the last 5 meetings between the Blackhawks and the Bruins have gone beyond regulation. I'm not saying take the draw, but, man, it did cross my mind. It did cross my mind. And you are talking about the draw being an option in a game where there's a minus 440 favorite on the board, which means the price on the draw is going to be even better. And we're looking at plus 488 at Pinnacle with the draw in this game. So to me, man, they're going to rope me into taking at least putting something very, very small on this draw at that price, plus 488. And then after seeing Boston's gone to a draw with Chicago in 3 of the last 5 meetings. So, definitely I think that plus 488, at that price, like if this is plus 300, I'm not interested. If it's like the standard average price of a draw, plus 300, plus 325, I ain't touching it. But come on here, plus 488, when you're not totally sure if Boston's 100% going to be invested. And the one thing we've seen about Chicago here lately, 4-3 loss to Detroit, could have went to OT, 4-3 loss to Florida, did go to overtime, 3-1 loss to Tampa Bay. That game was going to go to overtime if not for a goal from Braden Point with like 45 seconds left to go 2-1 in that game. So, they've been competitive. They've been right there, Chicago, in the last few games. So that draw plus 488, man, I got to put a couple bucks on it at the very least. Win or lose, I'm content with that. All right, Ottawa, Edmonton. Next up here, we've got in this. Oh, by the way, in terms of props for the Boston game, Pavel Zacha, very interesting in terms of props there with him. He's definitely been solid for them of a late. Let me just see what else piques my interest. Taylor Radish has gotten a point in 3 straight games for Chicago. If anyone's going to contribute for them anything tonight against this Bruins team, it'll be him. He's also gone over his shots prop in 3 straight games, so keep an eye on that for the Blackhawks tonight. Taylor Radish, he's the hot commodity right now for them. And that's pretty much it. And like I said, looking at maybe Zacha here for Boston. All right, Ottawa, Edmonton. We've got Edmonton minus 210, home favorite, 7 being the total in this game. Ottawa, losing to Calgary and Vancouver over the weekend. It's not going to get any easier now against the Edmonton Oilers with Skinner confirmed in net for the Oilers. It will be Stuart Skinner tonight for them. Ottawa, too. We already talked about how this team has struggled defensively on this road trip. I mean, they made Calgary's offense look like it was the 80s Oilers the other night, and they didn't really have a good defensive game against Vancouver on Saturday night either. So all of a sudden, we're worried a bit about the downward trajectory of this Ottawa blue line, and Thomas Chabot is now out as well for the Ottawa Senators. It's not going to make things any easier for them trying to improve things and shore things up with their defensive play in their own zone. It's a good thing they have Jacob Chikrin now, because you got to believe now with Thomas Chabot out, he's going to get more minutes, more usage, more power play time. Look, they were screaming about him getting as much power play time, if not more than Chabot. Well, now Chabot's injured. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. Now he will get ample power play time. And yes, they've got him slotted on the first power play unit tonight for the Ottawa Senators. So it will be an opportunity here for Jake Chikrin to make an impact on this man advantage for the Ottawa Senators here in this game. His power play point prop is plus 300. I'm just saying, worth a look, worth a shot. Point prop for Chikrin as well, minus 105. You could even go goal prop plus 410 if you really want to get adventurous, but this is a big opportunity for him now. Over shots on goal. Yep. Goal prop, point prop, power play point prop, assist prop, you name it. Jacob Chychrun here in this game. Definitely his props are live, in my opinion, in this one. It should be an interesting response. I love the over here. I do, but I'm going to wait for a live line, obviously, with this one. I'm not going to bet it at 7. That's what we got the bet cast for tonight. We will be on at least until the conclusion of this Ottawa-Edmonton game. So we will be on during the game early on. So definitely I'm going to look for a live over at 6.5 in this game, no doubt. As far as the side goes, not much here. Not much here, because I think Ottawa is certainly backs against the wall. They need a response. Edmonton is coming back off that Eastern Canada road trip where they just completed it. Boston and Toronto, they played in those games. So it's not the greatest of spots here. And Buffalo as well for Edmonton. So they're back home off that little mini road trip, and they're off a loss. So I'd expect them to want to play better after that 7-5 setback, 7-4, I should say, setback against Toronto on Saturday night. Edmonton beat Ottawa 6-3 earlier this season in Ottawa. But actually, if you look in Edmonton, Ottawa beat them here the last time, 6-4. The last time they made the trip here to Edmonton. And by the way, 3 straight games head-to-head in Edmonton between these teams have gone over the total. The over is 7-2 in Ottawa's last 9 games. The over is 7-2, as I said, in the last 9 meetings in Edmonton between these two teams. But like I said, I like this over, don't get me wrong, but not at 7. Let's take a shot that maybe we get a scoreless start for the first few minutes and we're able to grab 6.5 or better during the betcast tonight with this live over. That's the plan. For yours truly here in this game. Props go Stützle, shots on goal. I mean, I don't even have to say it. You already know I'm going to be always looking to bet that. There's no question. And as far as the props go on the Ottawa side of things, you could look at it. There's definitely been players that have been in some good form lately for them. They obviously had an off night or two the last couple games against Calgary and Vancouver, but you'll always have the opportunity to get some chances here when you play this Edmonton Oilers team. So in terms of recent production, DeBrincat's really become a little bit more noticeable lately. Giroux has been just lights out. He's been phenomenal, no doubt. Stützle is on a streak of 5 points in the last 3 games and 7 points in the last 4 games. So, you could do point prop, goal prop for him. Giroux goes without saying. They're absolutely feeling it right now. Batherson's kind of cooled off lately for Ottawa. The last few games. Maybe tonight he gets it going, but certainly his form hasn't been nearly as good, the last few games. And then on the Edmonton side of things, you look at who's going to produce for them. I like that Klim Kostin's back in the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers. He's missed the last 2 games. He's going to be back in the lineup tonight. Thank goodness for that. He's earned it. He's played hard. He's played well. Evan Bouchard here for the Edmonton Oilers. I'm telling you what here. He's got 2 assists against Toronto, 2 points. He got a goal, which for his only point against Boston. He has 6 points in the last 4 games. With Tyson Barrie traded, he has definitely gotten more of the responsibility to quarterback the power play for the Edmonton Oilers, and he's making good on that. So anything with Evan Bouchard involved, I think is a pretty good prop look in this game tonight and moving forward, because until they adjust to his new role with greater opportunity running the power play. So to get a goal, he's plus 690. To get an assist, he's plus 125. Look for the point prop. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Bet99 obviously usually has some point props that maybe some other books don't have on certain players. So I'm going to take a look here and let me see if they've got a point prop for Evan Bouchard tonight in this game, because if they do, I think it's definitely going to be one that you want to look for in this game. All right, here we go. NHL. Let's go to point props. Let's go to Ottawa, Edmonton, and let's see what we can find. Yeah, Evan Bouchard to get a point tonight is plus 100 at Bet99. Sign me up. That's phenomenal right there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, next up here, we've got Dallas and Vancouver. It is Dallas minus 140, road favorites, 6.5 the total. I bet the over early. I figured it was going to go up to 6.5. So I jumped on over 6 at minus 120. Actually, there is still an over 6 at minus 130. Yeah, minus 130 at Bet On. Minus 121 at Bet Online still has over 6. Bookmaker / Chris has over 6 minus 125 as well. So there are still a couple of books here that have the over at 6. Shop around. I mean, Dallas, what can you say? They've suddenly become an over team, at least for now. And look, they're going to have their moments again where they're back to 2-1 hockey again, 3-1, and they're not struggling to score again. But you ride the wave right now with this team because offensively during this 6-1 stretch in their last 7 games, they've scored 4, 5, 7, 4, 10, 4, 5. I mean, they've just been consistently getting to 4 goals or more in all 6 of these games, or all 7 of their 7 straight games with 4+ goals for the Dallas Stars. They've gone over in 6 of the last 7 as well. So, yeah, you like the over here in this Vancouver. You know, kind of went under a couple of games, but the last couple, you know, Ottawa game, they with the 5-2 win, the Nashville game went over, so they've gone over in 2 of the last 3. This is a tough game from a side perspective. I mean, do you really want to step in front of Dallas right now? I'm not really rushing to do that with the way they're scoring and lighting up the scoreboard, but they are only 3-4 on the second of back-to-back games this year. They're in Seattle last night. Now they're in Vancouver tonight. And the Canucks are playing, you know, some of their best hockey in months, if not the entire season. 4 straight wins. You know, they've actually gotten some better defensive play. Penalty killing hasn't been nearly as horrible as it was early in the season. So Rick Tocchet is having some success getting this team to play a little bit better in their own end. It helps having Thatcher Demko, of course, back from injury in between the pipes. So, you know, I don't think this is just, you line up here and you for sure, you know, have extreme confidence with Dallas here at minus 145 as road favorites, especially with the way that the Vancouver Canucks have played lately. So this is definitely going to be, for me, not a game I'm involved from a side perspective. I like the total. I like a lot of props here. Where do we begin here? Joe Pavelski on a 6-game point streak for the Dallas Stars. When he gets on one of these, you know, and it's late in the season, I think he knows, hey, it's time to ramp up here. Get my game going. It's my time of the year, so him to get a point makes sense. I like his over shots on goal, over 2.5 shots on goal, plus 120. People are totally asleep on the fact, odds makers are, that this guy is really shooting the puck now. Last game, he only had 2 shots against Seattle. But you look at the way he's shot the puck before that. He had 5 straight games over 2.5 shots on goal. 5 of the last 6 games for Pavelski have gone over 2.5 shots on goal. He has a goal in 4 of the last 5 games with a goal as well. 4 of the last 5 games with an assist. So whatever you can find with Joe Pavelski right now, the guy's drinking the fountain of youth right now for Dallas, playing really well at this point in time. Jamie Benn, there's another one that's starting to heat up now. He's a polarizing player. When he's good, he's good. When he's not, he's terrible. But right now, he's on the good side of it. Goals in 3 of the last 4 games. 8 points in the last 4 games for Ben as well. Not a bad option there as far as props are concerned for the Dallas Stars. Kuzmenko has a point in 4 straight games. I like that look for the Vancouver Canucks tonight in this matchup. You've got all of a sudden Evgeny Dodonov with points in 3 straight games. He's finding the back of the net, and 3 straight games with an assist as well. So throw that in there for good measure. Evgeny Dodonov props. Like I said, Pavelski on a 3-game goal scoring streak. Heiskanen assist. Heiskanen point. Heiskanen over shots on goal. I mean, a lot of the offenses, he's having a big part in it right now from the blue line. Miro Heiskanen, Roope Hintz, of course, goes without saying there as well. This is because we do expect goals tonight. So it's one of those games where you sprinkle a little bit on all of these different props. Kuzmenko, by the way, there's a lot of heaters going on here. 8 of the last 10 with a point for Kuzmenko for Vancouver. 8 of the last 10 with a point for Hintz for Dallas. 8 of the last 10 for Ben with a point for Dallas. Heiskanen, 8 of the last 10 games with a point. JT Miller for Vancouver. 7 of the last 10 games with a point. Max Domi, 7 of the last 10 games with a point. Wyatt Johnston, who scored last night. I think he had 2 points against Seattle last night. He has a point in 7 of the last 10 games. And you want to go bargain bin hunting. Wyatt Johnston still, to this day, undervalued in his props, as far as I'm concerned, going into this game tonight against the Vancouver Canucks as well. So Pavelski, I mentioned him. A lot of good options here tonight. Elias Pettersson, you know, who's played better under Rick Tocchet since he got here. So the list goes on and on right now in terms of just how well, you know, multiple players on both teams are playing right now. Beauvillier, I've mentioned him. He's kind of cooled off actually a little bit the last couple, but I wouldn't talk anyone out of that. The draw. yes, this is definitely a draw candidate. I could see it. Dallas is always a draw candidate, man. They've played a lot of overtime / shootout games the last several weeks. Vancouver, they've gone beyond regulation, the Canucks, in 5 of their last 10 games. So that's 50% to the draw for the Vancouver Canucks in their last 10 games. So the draw is going to be a sprinkle for me in this game as well. One of a few draw bets tonight. You can get Dallas Vancouver draw tonight at again, a pretty decent price, plus 346 at Pinnacle. So liking that as well. Plus the over, plus all those props I mentioned. On we go. Calgary, Arizona. Calgary minus 250 road favorite, 6.5 the total. Remember the last game vividly between these two teams in Arizona. It looked like, here we go again. Calgary's going to have 50 shots and lose damn hockey game, right? We all thought that the last time they were here. And it was looking that way. They were down 3-1 at one point midway through the second period. They had like 30 shots to 6 or some shit like that against Arizona. It was all, it was all basically Calgary in that game. They just could not basically say, they just couldn't put the puck in the net, which has been an issue at times, of course, this year for the Calgary Flames. But they were swarming Arizona. They were all over the Coyotes' net. The Coyotes doing what they do, and that's give up a ton of shots on goal, and a team that accumulates a lot of shots on goal, Calgary. So that kind of tells you in this game, Calgary shots on goal props are probably going to be a good bet. Question is the puck going to go in? That's always what you have to ask yourself. Calgary's the king of racking up 40 shots, 50 shots, not scoring more than 2 goals. They've done this a bunch of times this year. So definitely, I would say go forward with that and look toward Calgary shots on goal props, because that's the one thing that will cash. Even if your team total doesn't, even if Calgary somehow loses, you're at least going to cash some of these shots on goal props, because that's the one thing we certainly can expect. Arizona to give up the usual vast number of shots on goal that they normally do. This is a team that's given up 34, 44, 40, 42, 40, 42, 41 shots just in their last 7 games alone. I mean, they have been absolutely, just hemorrhaging shots on goal allowed. So, and here's Calgary with 39, 37, 37, 31. They had 57 shots against Boston. They had 51 shots on goal in that last visit here to the Mullet to take on this Arizona team. So definitely shots on goal props for Calgary are in the, the usual people as well, right? Probably a little Lindholm, maybe a little Anderson on the back end, but especially up front to Foley, Backlund, Lindholm, players like that. So shots on goal props I like. This game, though, Calgary, maybe they do have their confidence. They got 5 goals against Ottawa. That's like an outburst for them offensively. They've won 3 of their last 4. Can they carry it over here against Arizona, who, by the way, did beat Minnesota in overtime 5-4 in their last game? That's 2 straight games to the draw between in their last 2 games. The draw has to be something I put in pocket here for something. Again, I don't want to get too draw crazy tonight, but hey, if it's been working, and you see on Twitter, we had multiple draw winners on Sunday, the last big card we had, and this draw is at plus 412. You just saw Arizona play 2 playoff teams, Minnesota and Colorado, to overtime. So don't tell me that Arizona can't hang here with Calgary. They absolutely can. They've shown it here in the last 2 games going into this one. So the draw here at a nice price there, plus 414 at Pinnacle, is a great look. This is just one of those spots where it feels like Calgary's in another tight one. I don't buy that, 5-1 against Ottawa, they're going to roll 5-1 tonight. I got to see it again. I got to see this team put the puck in the net again consistently, 2 straight games. Can't just see it for one game for the first time in a blue moon and just automatically assume it's going to happen again. So the draw for me, a lot of shots on goal props for Calgary. That's the way we're going to go about it here in this game. If I had more faith in Calgary's offense, I'd certainly bet the over. I want to bet Arizona over the total. They do not have a blue line that's NHL caliber to shut teams down right now. They just don't. We've said this ad nauseum for the last several games with Nemeth and Moser and Valimaki and Brown and Mackey and Soderstrom. That's just not a blue line that's going to shut down the team on the other end repeatedly. But Calgary shuts themselves down with just shooting the puck right at the goalie, not being ingenuity enough and creativity enough offensively. So We're going to just look toward the draw here more than anything and some shots on goal props with Calgary. Clayton Keller with a point streak going, 5 straight games with a point for Arizona. I think that's worth a look. Barrett Hayton is the one I want to point out because, look, with Clayton Keller, you're not getting the greatest of price with the point prop. It's minus 200. But the goal prop's worth a look, plus 190. He's been scoring a lot. Barrett Hayton is where the value is. Barrett Hayton's only minus 112 to get a point tonight for the Arizona Coyotes in this game, and he has really turned it on. He had 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points against Minnesota. He's on a 4-game point streak. He has 8 points in those 4 games, including 3 goals in those 4 games as well. So you could really even sprinkle on the goal prop as well for Barrett Hayton tonight against Calgary, plus 290, but the point prop especially, minus 112. The guy's got 8 points in the last 4 games right now for the Arizona Coyotes. So, the Ingram saves prop, it's high, though. That's the one thing. They're pushing this number up higher and higher but I would put it in pocket. I'd bet it. I'd bet it for something. Over 33.5 saves, minus 120. For Connor Ingram. And Connor Ingram, by the way, is confirmed in net for the Coyotes tonight. No confirmation yet, but I think we're at the point of the season where Daryl Sutter's just committing now to Jacob Markstrom every game. And why not? Markstrom is playing better. This is the best stretch of hockey I've seen out of Jacob Markstrom all season. The last few games, he's been very strong. 3 goals allowed in the last 3 games combined against Minnesota, Anaheim, and Ottawa. So, he is definitely finally getting that confidence back, getting that swagger back, stopping the puck, making key saves, making really tough saves too. If you look at some of these last few Calgary games, he's made some really difficult saves, breakaways, odd man rushes, and he has made the big stop at the big moment. So that's a good sign for Calgary moving forward. There's no question about that. So, like I say, this is not a bad game at all from a prop standpoint. Is Nick Schmaltz playing tonight? Let me just see for Arizona. No, he's out still. He was on a nice little run before he got injured, but doesn't look like he's going to suit up tonight for Arizona. So, like I said, it's a very good prop game here. Oh, Michelli as well for Arizona. Don't sleep on Matthias Michelli. Jack McBain. I mean, I'm talking like Arizona's going to score a bunch of goals, but it is worth noting these guys are starting to heat up. Jack McBain has 5 points in the last 5 games for the Coyotes. Michelli also has 5 points in the last 5 games for the Coyotes. Reasonable prop numbers for them, both of them. So McBain to get a point tonight in this game, if you can find it. He's plus 350, by the way, to get an assist, to get a point. Let's get to our good friends at Bet99 because, again, they are excellent for player props. I found that out just recently here that this bet on Bet99 here, they give you point props for a lot of players that a lot of other books don't, and that's what I respect about it. So, let me just see here. Michelli is plus 104 to get a point. Jack McBain is plus 125 to get a point. These guys have 5 points in the last 5 games, and they're plus money to get a point tonight here in this game. So, really good. Ritchie. That's a good point to the Ritchie brothers. Ritchie brothers playing each other. Nick Ritchie was in Arizona, now in Calgary. And then Brett Ritchie was in Calgary, now in Arizona. Do they want to make an impact tonight? Brotherly battle here in this game. So, definitely. Erasmus Scooterman under a point, says occupancy. And occupancy, hope to see you in the betcast tonight, obviously. And everybody else, too. Live betcast, make sure you join us tonight for that. All right, we got to finish this show up. 2 games left. New York Islanders, LA Kings. LA minus 135 home favorites. 5.5 the total here in this game. LA Kings off the loss to Nashville in their last game. They'll be looking to get back on track here tonight, taking on the New York Islanders. They beat the Islanders 3-2 a few weeks ago in Long Island. We'll see if the Islanders can get their redemption here tonight in this matchup. The Islanders, we'll see how they fare, but they've struggled overall against LA, 1-4. In the last 5 meetings, 1-5 in their last 6 visits to Los Angeles. So that's not a good long-term trend. I'm going to go with LA here, minus 135 in this game. The Islanders, to me, look, they beat Pittsburgh, they beat Buffalo, beat Detroit. Give them credit for that. But, this road record of theirs is still not great. They're 14-19 on the season on the road, playing against a 20-win home team in LA, a team coming off a shootout loss. LA has been pretty good off a loss lately as well, worth noting. I think they bounce back here. It looks like for goaltending, Sorokin and Copley are projected to be the goaltenders, but neither. Actually, we have a confirmation of Sorokin for the Islanders. Nothing yet for the LA Kings, but obviously it'll be either Copley or no, it's Korpisalo. I beg your pardon. Just confirmed at left wing lock. Korpisalo in net here for the LA Kings tonight. So getting another start for him. His second start, I believe, since he's been with the LA Kings. So it'll be LA. It'll be Jonas Korpisalo in net for the LA Kings here tonight. Yeah, I like LA here. I'm just going to lay the minus 135 money line. No regulation or anything like that. This could be a draw too, but I think LA is going to find a way to get this job done here at home. Islanders have struggled on the road. One thing too about the Islanders as well is the offense has been just, good one game and awful the next. I mean, they have the 4 goals against Pittsburgh, 1 goal against Washington, and just couldn't find the back of the net, got completely shut down. Power play didn't work in that game. So definitely interested in LA here in a bit of a bounce back spot in this game. They're not really banged up at center. I mean, they've got Fiala's day-to-day and Durzee's day-to-day for the LA Kings. They're not really featuring a ton of massive injuries down the middle right now. But again, these are minor injuries. It's day-to-day for Durze, lower body injury for Fiala. He's also a day-to-day. As far as props go in this Islanders-Kings game, Arvidsson shots on goal. Arvidsson has gone over in 6 straight games. I think you got to keep rolling with that. Phil Deneau has gone over his shots on goal for the Kings in 4 straight games entering tonight. That might be a good prop look as well. I wouldn't go too crazy with the point props, but I am definitely going to look at Gabe Vilardi for the LA Kings. There's no doubt. He has got it starting to heat up and get it cooking again for the LA Kings, looking like the Gabe Vilardi, if you remember from early in the season when he was playing quite well for this LA Kings team, heating up at the offensive end, which is definitely what you want to see. And he's been starting to get it rocking and rolling. No question about it for the LA Kings. Let me just bring up the sheets here because in terms of the goal data in particular, but I know for a fact lately it's been heating up again for Vilardi. Yeah, Vilardi has a goal in 3 of the last 5 games for the LA Kings. And by the way, here's an interesting one. Against the New York Islanders, tonight's opponent, Gabe Vilardi has scored in every game since every game that he's been in the lineup for the LA Kings against the New York Islanders, he has scored. He has found the back of the net for them. So Vilardi, goal and point props worth a look here. There's another in our chat, Cubano mentioning Pierre Engvall, someone that didn't get the ice time and the opportunity as much in Toronto, but he did score in the last game against Washington. He is on the second power play for the New York Islanders. They like him. They think he can be an impactful player for this team. So if you buy into that goal for Engvall against Washington being a start of maybe a little bit of a hot streak here for him with the Islanders, then maybe you can jump in on a goal prop there. He is playing on the third line. Keep that in mind. He's not on the top 6 forward role yet, but certainly he did find the back of the net against Washington in the last game, and we'll see if he could do that once again here tonight. All right, final game of this massive Tuesday card. Columbus Blue Jackets, San Jose Sharks. San Jose minus 145 home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this one. Like I say, 2 teams playing for exercise. I like the over. It's very simple. No need to overthink it. 3 straight overs for Columbus in their last 3 games. 5-3 earlier this year when they played in Columbus in favor of the Jackets. It's 2 teams that, again, they don't need to block shots. They're not going to the playoffs. It's definitely a game where I think we'll see some goals scored. It will be Daniil Tarasov in net for Columbus tonight, which I think is the right call. Get him up here. Let's see him get some starts now. Enough with this Michael Hutchinson shit. I mean, he's not your future in net with Merzlikins still absent from the team. So it will be Tarasov, who has a 2-9 record, 3.28 goals against average, 908 save percentage in 13 appearances this year with the Jackets. So he's definitely had his share of struggles. But for me, over the total. I don't want to side in this game. It's just for me, expect goals both ways. And I like over here in this one. San Jose's lost 3 straight. Columbus has lost 4 straight. Like, why bet a side? Why? So I like the over here. That's about it. in this game, other than some props. Oh, here's a prop worth noting. Patrick Laine, 5-game point streak, 4-game goal streak for the Blue Jackets. We've been waiting on this guy to finally show some damn consistency and be the offensive difference maker we think he's capable of being on a regular basis. And lately, it has been that. 4 straight games with a goal, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points in the last 5 games for Patrick Laine. So right now, he's got it rolling for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I like Boone Jenner over shots. That's been a go-to prop bet for me lately. Maybe the point prop as well for him. On the San Jose side of things, it's basically been the same players we've talked about repeatedly that I think are worth a look. Again, William Eklund. I'm going to stand by the William Eklund belief that he's eventually going to find some offensive success. He hasn't gotten a point in 4 straight games, but he had 3 shots on goal the last game. He's going to continue to get a featured role with this team, top 6 role, power play minutes as well. So I'm not dissuaded from going back to William Eklund here for San Jose. And of course, the other player for San Jose is Barabanov, who we've talked about repeatedly now when the Sharks play. He continues to be just a consistent source of offensive production for this team. Barabanov with 3 points in the last 2 games alone. He has a very, very strong 43 points in 62 games this season for the San Jose Sharks. So, definitely interested in more props involving Alexander Barabanov tonight. Yeah, and Tomas Hertl. 4 of the last 5 games, he has a goal for the San Jose Sharks. The goal prop certainly is worth a look maybe for him tonight in this game. So, definitely a good prop game, especially considering I like the over here, 6.5. Thinking we'll see goals here between the Blue Jackets and the Sharks. All right, there you go. That is the Tuesday card. We're back tonight with the live betcast, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you join us. DM me at Bobano on Twitter or email bobano350@gmail.com to request a spot on our Ice Guys live NHL betcast tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll take you through all the games, live betting, commentary, and more. And, of course, drinking encouraged. Bring your favorite beverage onto the show with us, onto the stream and the betcast with us. So join us tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. And, again, DM or email me to get your spot on the betcast tonight. Looking forward to it once again. Alex, that is a good question. We encourage you to be on the betcast stream with us, on the stream with your video as well. We want to see your face. We want to see what, we want to see everybody's smiling face, having a good time. But if you insist and you only want to be on audio only or only with your voice, that is fine too. Mikey, for example, who's on a lot of our betcasts, he's only voice only right now, audio only. We don't say, no, you can't be on the betcast. No, we still have him on, and that's fine. Again, we encourage you to have your video and your camera on, except if you're naked. We would say no, there's no way we're allowing that. But other than that, definitely we would say, basically, if you want to just be on with audio only on the stream with us, that's fine. There's no problem with that. So again, the betcast live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to that. We'll wrap the show up in just a moment with best bets for this Tuesday card right after we hear from Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS. That's promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, it's about 14 million balls that you can preserve. The Performance Package 4.0 is the complete accessory package to take care of everything that is required. You've got, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Takes care of your facial hair and among other things. You've got, of course, the Weed Whacker. I'm approaching 40. Nose hair has become a major issue. It pisses the hell out of me. I need to take care of that shit, and the Weed Whacker can help you do that. Both of these products, waterproof and a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And you'll also be able to take care of those delicate areas with the ball toner, with the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good, looking good, and feeling good down in the nether regions. This complete Performance Package 4.0 will take care of everything for you, for all you guys out there. And it's courtesy of our good friends at manscaped.com. So get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Ice Guys at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code Ice Guys. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, we're back, and I just want to mention something that Harrison Schultz mentioned on Twitter here about he's a big Penguins fan. He has his own, I think, hockey show and video or something of the like that he does, and he's a big Penguins fan. He mentioned like an Alex Nylander to score tonight for the Penguins against Montreal, and obviously the price on that is very, very good. He had a bunch of chances last game, so I actually concur with that. I remember watching that Ranger game. He did have chances. He's plus 750 at the score bet to score. You can still get plus 500, plus 600 at some other books as well. So Alex Nylander, that's William's brother, by the way. William Nylander's brother playing for the Penguins. Alex Nylander, maybe a small shot there to score a goal tonight. He did have tonight against Montreal because he did have some chances. And I think he's moved. Yeah, he's on the second line with Malkin and the red hot Jason Zucker. That's my number one, goal and point prop in the game. Zucker, of course. But yeah, Nylander definitely not a bad look. I concur with what he's saying there. Alex Nylander at a nice price. All right, best bets here to wrap it up for this Tuesday edition of the Ice Guys. My best bet, I'm going to take at 5.5. I'm in, even with Carolina's propensity. Now, look, this is a team that's gotten blanked in 2 straight games. So maybe I shouldn't be going with this as a best bet, but I'm going to. I like the situation. They're back home. They're going to face Big Siv Dave in net here for the Winnipeg Jets tonight for them. It's time to get some fucking offense on the board. I don't care that Svechnikov's out. You got to score some goals here if you're Carolina. You're still a good enough offensive team. You could score without Svechnikov. Where's Aho? Where's Jarvis? Where's Natchez, my guy? Natchez has been quiet all of a sudden the last couple. They're still capable back home. I think time for them to find the back of the net and get some offense rolling against David Riddick. Anderson hasn't played nearly as well. We just saw him give up 4 against Vegas. This is a cheap over at 5.5 at Bet Rivers with this over. At Bet Rivers, it's over 5.5 minus 122. That's what we're going to go with here for best bet. Winnipeg, Carolina, over 5.5, minus 122. That is going to be my best bet here for this Tuesday NHL card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. And join us for the live betcast tonight. The Ice Guys is live 7 days a week. Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday. We're back in 3.5 hours with the live betcast tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Join us for that. Send a DM at Bobano on Twitter or email bobano350@gmail.com if you wish to join us on the betcast. We're looking forward to it. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern for the betcast, and we'll also, of course, be back as usual with our daily show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Keep on watching and checking us out. Tune in every day to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now.